So it's 9 p.m. in RTD. It's time to English New Edition. For tonight headlines, we have the holding of workshop on digital transformation. The containment extended to the two districts Ebola in Uganda. Welcome to our newsroom, transmitted on November by the 14th by the Conference of Presidents of the National Assembly, the bill on the ratification of the concessional financing agreement for the project of risk reduction, inclusion and enhancement of pastoral economies in the Horn of Africa was examined this Sunday, November 27, 2022 by the Foreign Affairs Committee. The meeting, led by the chairman of the committee, Member of Parliament Abdurrahman Awale Yassin, took place in the presence of parliamentarians and the Minister of Agriculture, Water, Fisheries, Livestock and Fishery Resources, Muhammad Ahmed Awale. At the end of a dialogue focused mainly on agro-pastoralism and external financing, the draft ratification mentioned above is transmitted with the favorable opinion of the committee for adoption in public session. As part of the activity of the National Week of Disability, the National Agency for the Promotion of People Living with Disability, NPH, in collaboration with the National Agency of the State Information System, ANSI, organized this morning at Campus Key Hotel a workshop on the popularization on digital transformation for people with special needs and project of the NPH, chaired by the Secretary General of the Government, Mr. Almis Muhammad Abdullahi, in the presence of the General Director of the two agencies, Mr. Duali Saeed Mahamoud and Mr. Mustafa Muhammad Ismail, with the effective participation of many executives from different state institutions and resident UN agencies. Indeed, the holding of this workshop served as a platform for officials of the two agencies to welcome the public and inform them on the use of media and digital tools available to people living with disability on procedures to follow. The objective being to direct the interests to the person, the services or the resources most adapted to his request. Therefore, during a projection in the room, the designers of the new programs and digital systems of ANSI explicitly informed the participant about the ins and outs of the two digital programs set up for the benefit of the NPH. It is about integrated system of management of disabled people for the famous SIG-PH to centralize the biometric databases of the disabled people, and the SIGA NPH, the integrated systems of the management of the NPH, which also allow it to computerize the internal functioning of the NPH agency. During her inaugural speech at the workshop, the UNDP representative, Ms. Emma Ano, congratulated the successful collaboration of the two agencies. The General Manager of the ANSI, Mr. Mustafa Muhammad Ismail, has indicated in his speech that it is the digital space of NPH, the integrated system of the NPH sites, which will be presented to you later, which has the software, the main functionality of internal management of an entity, but whatever it is missions, whatever its size is. And the second system is the system of management of disabled people. The integrated management systems of the NPH allows the automations of all the process of internal management, as well as the level of the management of human resources, as the accountants, as the treatment of the materials of logistics. In his official speech, the General Director of the NPH, Mr. Duali Saeed Mahamoud, to present the perspectives and objectives that the agency is set to achieve in the next month, or in the beginning of the year 2023. He announced the programs and projects access on the continuity of the digitalization and transformation of the activities of NPH. The General Director made a good announcement of the imminent implementation of the mobile application allowing the the gradual registrations of all disabled people in the services of a state institution. This application will also serve as a platform for interoperability between the INPH and services such as the CNS, the CSS, hospital, and other services. For his part, the Secretary General of the government, Mr. Almis Mohamed Abdullahi, said in his speech that, first of all, it is a great pleasure for me to be present among you because I know the investment of INPH and I know the investment of ANSI in the concretizations of this project for people with special needs. The inclusion of digital for people with special needs is essential in more than one way. It's essential. It is essential because the digital transition is redefining the world we know. Yesterday, Saturday, the first day of the National Week of Disability, was reaching activity at the end of the official launching ceremony of the activity of the fourth editions of the National Week of Disability, which took place. The NPH delegation is led by the Director General of Duali Saeed Mahmoud, went to the city of Dakhil, capital of the region of Dakhil. Upon arrival, the NPH Director General and his team were warmly welcomed by the representative of the central and regional administrations of the southern region. The main objectives of this trip was to hand over equipment and other tools to people with the special needs in these regions. It is about important batches of materials and composed of white cans, several types of the wheelchairs, crutches, and simple or commercial motorcycles. In short, in total about 70 tools are designated to facilitate the locomotions of people with reduced mobility. Still in the context of the celebration of the National Week of Disability, a team of the NPH went to the White City of Tajura, the capital of the region of Tajura, led by Mr. Duali Saeed Mahmoud, the General Director of the NPH, and led by the Administrative and Financial Director of the agency, Isa Hassan. The team proceeded to the delivery of a large batches of equipment for disabled people registered with the NPH. It is about important batch of materials composed of the white cans, several types of wheelchair, crutches, and simple or commercial motorcycles. In short, in total, nearly 70 tools designated to facilitate the locomotions of people with reduced mobility. For the NPH officials, this operation of donations of equipment to the needy will inevitably be one of the highlights of the activities of this fourth edition of the National Week of Disability, whose work will continue. The Salam Tower hosted this Sunday morning the launch of the International Training Programs in Development Evaluation. This program is supported in major players, namely the Government of Canada and the Independent Evaluation Group of the World Bank. This initiative comes from the National School of the Public Administration, which is a French-speaking university in North America, to support French-speaking public administrations in fulfilling their mission and achieving their strategic objectives. Djibouti, being the only francophone countries in East Africa, will benefit from these international development evaluation training programs by mastering the development and perfections of the evaluation discipline. These international training programs is in evaluation and development will allow participants to develop advanced knowledge in evaluations and in development context. This ceremony was chaired by the Planning Commissioner and National Coordinators of the UNICEF, Mr. Amar Ali Said, and was attended by the representative of UNICEF, the president of the Mr. Hassan Gouda Said, experts in monitoring and evaluations from INAP in Quebec, and beneficiaries from different ministries. The representative of UNICEF and the president of the ADE, Mr. Hassan Gouda Said, experts in monitoring and evaluations from INAP in Quebec, took the microphone to explain the ins and outs of the training. Djibouti, being the only francophone countries in East Africa, will benefit from this international development evaluation training program, by mastering the development and perfection of the evaluation discipline. These international training programs in evaluation and development will allow participants to develop advanced knowledge in evaluation in development context. The Commissioner of the Plane and Coordinator of USEP, Mr. Amari Ali Saeed, in turn urged the future executives to make the best of this training. This training of paramount importance for our local evaluation experts was made possible by the impetus of USEP and the Djiboutian Evaluation Association. USEP is a unit for monitoring the implementation of priority public policies level attached to the Prime Minister's Office for the promotions of the cultures of evaluation for development. As part of the closing of the National Week of the Fight Against Diabetes, Colonel Wais Omar Bogore, commanders of the Coast Guard, visited the Center of Young Diabetic Djibouti on Saturday, November 26. The ceremony, which took place at the Center of Young Diabetic Djibouti, was chaired by Dr. Saleh Benoita Turab, the Secretary General of the Ministry of Health. Many diabetic families and children, as well as health personnel, took part in this event. Upon their arrival, Colonel Wais Omar Bogore and Dr. Saleh Benoita Turab were welcomed by Dr. Abdurrahman Moumin Duksiye, coordinator of the centers, Dr. Jibril Ahmed, head of the centers, and Dr. Yasin Omar Kaisali, Djiboutian Coast Guard, and Dr. Abdurrahman Moumin Duksiye, pediatrician diabetologist, explained to the officials the role and missions of this structure in the fight against diabetes in Djibouti. Let's recall that the Young Diabetic Center is a structure of the Ministry of Health taking care of children and young diabetics under 25 years old, first in the Republic of Djibouti. Let us recall that the Djiboutian Coast Guard is among the institutions that support the Center for Young Diabetics in Djibouti. During this ceremony, parents and children took the floor to thank the Ministry of Health and the Djiboutian Coast Guard to their support to diabetic children. The ceremony ended with a family photo. For the international scene, Ugandan President Yoweri Museveni on Saturday imposed a further 21-day extensions of the lockdown in 2 districts at the epicenter of an Ebola outbreak that has killed 55 people, while stressing that its spread was being halted since the outbreak was declared on September 20. Ebola has spread to the capital, Kampala, although health officials this week reported a decline in the number of cases. The 2 central districts at the heart of the outbreak, Mubende and Kasanda, were placed under a 21-day lockdowns on October 15. The measure, nightly curfew, ban on personal travels and closures of market, bar, and churches was renewed on November 5. In announcing a third 21 days lockdown, President Museveni described the situation as still fragile. This is it for the news. Thanks for watching us. Have a good evening.